Welcome back. We're very pleased that Johan was able to cover that story for you. And talking about special stories, now it's wet, it's a little bit dry, it's all over the place, the weather really, so it's hot, cold, and we're all getting a little dose of the flu or aches and pains. We had the opportunity in our business experts section to talk to the GPO, the government pharmaceutical organisation, about how you should and where you should go to buy your tablets. If you don't want to go to the doctor, that's fine, but just make sure that you're buying a brand that is well known from a pharmacy that also has a reputation. So these little pharmacies on the street, be a bit careful. We've covered that story before.
Actually, we learned quite a lot of new things.
Indeed we do, so we hope that you're enjoying. Following that story, Tara, who is Kun Sansani seeing?
Kun Sansani is going to be taking us to Mukdahan National Park, and also a word of warning, starting from the 1st of October, you will have to start buying your National Park tickets from 7-Eleven as they're trying to fade out buying them when you get there. So she's in the forefront of this and taking us to Mukdahan National Park.
Enjoy. This is a place that you as expats don't normally go, but there's many things to see around Thailand, not just in Chiang Mai, not just in Phuket, not just in Samui. Let's try Mukdahan. Over to you, Sansani.
Welcome back to So This is Thailand, and we are here on Expert Advice with an expert on medicine. We're very pleased to welcome today Mr. Somchai Si Chainak, the Deputy Managing Director of the Government Pharmaceutical Organization, or as you call it, GPO. You may have seen, if you're a tourist arriving into Thailand for the first time, the similar looking medicine with the GPO stamp in the front, and you might not be too familiar with what it is. So our expert is here to give us some advice about how to go about buying medicine around Thailand. Now, I guess the first question would be, where can you find good medicine, and how do you know when you're getting the proper stuff?
Thank you for your question. First of all, I think that before we getting the good medicine, we have to go to the good drugstore first. How do we know that this is the good drugstore or not? First of all, there are some notice that foreigner can notice before getting the drug from that store. The first one is that the condition of the store. They have a good condition about how to put the medicine on the shelf, how to keep it, and is there any what we call the pharmacy quality drugstore badge to show that this is the qualified one, audited by the Thai Council, Thai Pharmacy Council. Another one is that you can ask for the pharmacist to give your advice before you getting the drug. This is something that you can check with yourself before you start to buy the drug from this store. Yes.
Right.
I know in the West we're used to being able to buy a certain degree of drugs over the counter where we don't need a prescription. Things like paracetamol or even cold medicine, decongestants. Is that any different here in Thailand?
For the common drug like paracetamol, what that we call here in Thailand that the generic drug. If some people ask for the original one, that we know that something like, I can mention Tylenol, something like that. But Tylenol is something that we call that it is quite very expensive for the ordinary Thai people. We can offer them with the generic name that we call paracetamol, the same or equivalent strength, for example, like 300 milligrams of paracetamol per tab, something like that. And as normally, the drug that can be allowed to sell in the drugstore should be investigated by the Thai FDA, I mean regularly.
Right.
So they have the certification to prove that the drug in the generic name, something like paracetamol, they have the bioequivalent equal to the something like Tylenol, I mean for the active ingredient, like pharmaceutical 300 milligrams. So this is something that we call the generic drug, that we have the bioequivalent data to show that they have the same level of quality standard.
Same effectiveness and everything.
Yes.
Right, so you're talking about active
but a cheaper
ingredient.
price.
Right, because most people would just ask for a brand that they know, but they don't actually know that it's the same drug inside.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why the medicine produced by the GPO is normally quite substantially cheaper and quite high quality, right?
We can say the same quality as the original one, but cheaper, exactly, yeah.
Right.
And as you were mentioning in the beginning that drugs which are produced by GPO, you do have that stamp so they know. What about for those foreigners, whether you're staying here or just on vacation? I know there's a lot of, I'd say we call them like mom and pop pharmacy stores. They might be kind of outside. I know you said you need to look at the quality and see is it being properly maintained.
Yeah.
But I know there might be an occasion where I might come across maybe ones that aren't selling either full strength or even counterfeit. What do we talk about when we mean counterfeit drugs?
Yeah, when you're talking about the counterfeit drug, something like that, we say that there are two causes of what we call the counterfeit drug. The first one is the real one, but the same level or the amount of the active ingredient may be lower than the standard. The causes of that may be because they have not a good, proper store the drug. For example, they exposed to the light, to the heat, or humidity, something like that. That kind of effect will deteriorate the active pharmaceutical ingredient to be lower than the standard one. But anyway, it is very rare to find the fake drug, something like that. For example, they start to use the flour instead of paracetamol, something like that. It is very rare to find in Thailand, because Thai FDA, they are normally or regularly investigate. So the cost benefit to selling the fake drug is not worth for them. Yep.
And what about the stores that sell prescription drugs as opposed to over-the-counter? I think for foreigners, you might be used to having to have a prescription every time you go to get medicine. But here, it's quite easy to just go and ask for something, and then you get given it over the counter. And sometimes the pharmacist will suggest this and that for various things like over-prescribing. How would you know that you're being sold like too many things?
I think first of all, that's true that you mentioned about that. But anyway, to protect yourself from that kind of event, I think the first thing that you have to ask to meet with the pharmacist. The pharmacist should have the gown, the white gown, embroidered with the name, so you can know who you are talking to, so you can remember the name. Something like when you get into the taxi, you can remember the registration number, the name of the taxi driver, something like that. This is the one that I think that to prevent yourself or to make yourself that you are talking to the expert, the drug, the pharmacist that can recommend you to the right thing before taking the medicine, something like that.
I know for the GPO-produced drugs, they are available in pharmacies. GPO also does have offices as well where people can go in, correct?
Yes. We have our shop. I mean that if I remember, it's around 7 to 9, something like that, shops around in Bangkok. Sorry that we don't have in the up country, something like that. But anyway, we have the GPO representative in each province, at least one in each province. And we are quite sure that if the people walk into that store, something like that, with the logo of GPO, they will certify that this is the real store, that you can get any good recommendation from the pharmacist or even the assistant pharmacist.
One thing that was quite surprised me when I came here is, I think at least from the United States, we tend to get a lot of our medication all in one pill. So if I buy, if I have a cold, in my medication, I'll have a decongestion, anti-inflammatory, paracetamol, a bunch of different medications, whereas if I go to the hospital or to a pharmacist, they'll give me a specific drug for a specific symptom. In continuing with Tara's question about over-prescribing, is there any difference, or is there any danger with me taking, I guess, 5 different pills for my cold versus that one I might have taken back home?
You know that for something like when you catch a cold, something like that, the best way to treat the symptom of the catching a cold is that to treat according to the symptom. If you have the symptom like the headache, you should take the paracetamol. If you have something like the running nose, you should take something like decongestant, like chlorpheniramine, something like that. And if your symptom, you get a sore throat, something like that, and if they check that you get infected with bacteria, they can prove that if you have the saliva, like the green color, something like that, you will give you the antibiotics, something like that. But as normally, when people walk in, if they have a clear symptom, something like that, they will give you something like paracetamol plus decongestant. This is the basic one. Right. But in case you should take the antibiotics, something like that, they will give you with a good recommendation that you should use within 7 days. If you are not recovered from that symptom, please go to the hospital, something like that.
Right. Okay, so you shouldn't take things with symptoms that you don't have.
Yes.
And if they give it to you...
Yeah, it should be like that. Not like that. When you come in, I will prescribe you with the vitamin, with the mineral, something. No need for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just treat what needs to be treated.
Yes, according to your symptom. Yeah.
One last question before we wrap up today. I know a lot of people think, oh well, if I don't use all my medication, or either one, they won't finish the prescription, or if they have maybe a little left over, think, oh, I'll just keep that at home. I'll just store it. Is that recommended, or should you, when you're done with the prescription, should you throw it away?
Yeah, that's why I say that they have what we call the pharmacy quality store. It means that they have a pharmacist or assistant pharmacist. But one thing is that you can get the service, something like recommendation, that how can you take it? How frequently do you take it? Should you take it before or after the meal, something like that? And if you go back home, how do you store it? In the fridge or in the normal temperature? But you should use it within how many days, something like that. This is, we call the professional service from the pharmacist. Yep.
Well, that's good advice, and I know for anyone, no one wants to get sick or feel unwell, but having at least the good advice of where to get good medicine from, to be able to identify those good shops that are out there, and know especially the proper usage and storage of them, we can all be much healthier.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much. You are welcome.
But don't go away, because coming right up, we got more on So This Is Thailand.
Hello, today is the last day in Mukdahan province, and this story is for nature lovers because we are going to talk about the nature in Mukdahan. Next to me is Dr. Edith Namprakay, President of Chamber of Commerce.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to the show again. Today we are standing right in the middle of the national park. This one is a rock garden with different shapes of rock. It's called Phu Pha Thep National Park. Yeah, how big area?
This one here is about 50 square kilometers.
So it's about the whole area with the different shape of rocks. So why they look like this?
Well, it must be because of water throughout the years. This is about 120 million years old, the rocks here. And just with water coming through the different kinds of rock stones, then we get all different kinds of formations. And if you use imagination, you can see they form pictures in your
Yeah, so you should come here with imagination, you should come with a very good heart, and you should come here with suntan lotion, I think. How many national parks are there here in Mukdahan?
I think we have 3 that I can think of, but there are other areas that we are trying to make into national parks as well. This is a big one, and then we have another couple of ones which have different attractions. This is lots of rocks, and we have other ones which have lotus flowers.
Yes.
And we have caves and
waterfalls.
Ancient writing, yes, all kinds of things.
Yes, you can see when you come to stop in Mukdahan, you can experience them all. climb all the way up here?
I was bringing you up to look at the ancient paintings on the wall, on the rock here.
Ancient, how ancient?
More than 3,000 years old.
The red lines over there.
That's right, red lines. You find them in lots of the parks round about here. We have them in Phu Pha Thom, and we have them in Hui Sing, another national park that we have as well. Lots of this writing you'll find all over this part of the northeast.
I can't see clearly what's it's all about, but I mean I can see some red lines. So can you tell us how old is this?
Well, about, we think, more than 3,000 years old.
Wow, 3,000 years old. And are there many places in this rock garden that we can find, or just only this rock that I climb up?
Just this rock here in this national park. But if you go to the other national parks, you'll find them all over the place round about here. But here in Phu Pha Thom, only here, only this one. And nobody knows what it says. And people are still trying to figure out if it's a drawing or a painting or if it's numbers or what. Nobody knows what it says.
Produce the natural colors.
Yes.
We are at the landmark of Mukdahan. It's a tower. It's called Hor Keo.
Hor Keo Mukdahan.
Yes. So please tell us about Hor Keo.
Hor Keo was built 10 years ago to celebrate the 50 years of the kings being on their throne. So it's 10 years old this year.
Yes.
And it's built as a sort of cultural showpiece for Mukdahan, because downstairs we'll have a small museum showing the local products from what the people use in their daily lives.
Yes, and there are 7th or 8th floors.
That's right.
All in all.
Altogether, there's 8. The one above us is a Praputaru.
Yeah, we are on the 7th floor, and we can walk around like this, and there are exhibitions, and of course a viewpoint around here.
That's right. You can see all around Mukdahan. Across to the other side there, it's Laos on the other side there.
Yes.
So we can see all 360 degrees of Mukdahan from up here.
Here is another highlight of Mukdahan. It's called the Indochina Market. I love shopping, of course, so that's why I come here. But I mean, our reason is I would like to know more information about this place.
Well, the market is one of our most popular tourist attractions.
Yes.
Everybody who comes here must stop off and do some shopping. And we have goods from all over the world. We have, of course, things from Laos, and we have ceramics from Vietnam and China. And we have carpets that come in from Eastern Europe.
Oh.
And so we have all kinds of things. Some stuff comes from Malaysia, cookies and chocolate and that kind of thing coming from Malaysia.
Yes.
So we have things from all over the place here.
So it shows Mukdahan as a hub of transportations and trades and communications and everything.
That's true.
Yes, you can see that we are on the bank of Mekong River. We have the pavilion, เรารักมุกดาหาร ศาลา เรารักมุกดาหาร or we love Mukdahan. And this big, huge area, it's very crowded. So open daily, of course?
Open daily. It's very popular on the weekends, especially.
Very popular.
So during the week, it's a lot more quiet during the week, but very, very busy on the weekends.
Yes, from when to when?
I mean, during the day?
Yeah, during the day.
They open about 9 in the morning and they close about 5 in the evening, depending on how many customers are.
Yes.
If there are still customers, they stay open until later on.
Okay, so please come and enjoy. I do shopping now. This is one of the most popular activities for all the nature lovers. This is kayaking. So where can we do the kayaking in Mukdahan?
Well, you can do it whenever you want. You just have to have a phone number to call up, and then the best thing is to do it on the Mekong River, but you can do it in the other reservoirs and things like that as well. But we like to do it on the Mekong. It's very nice.
But there are some of the tour company or agency that they prepare these things for you, right?
That's right. It's a package. You can rent the boats, take a ride. There'll be officials going with you to make sure it's safe. And when you finish, you go about 2 kilometers down the river, come up and have lunch, something like that.
Safe. It's very important because I never tried this before. So what should I do or what should I aware of?
First thing is you must have a life jacket on every time you go in the
Yes.
river. That's the most important thing. You don't go too far out in the river if you're not very sure.
No, I'm not going too far.
But there'll be another boat going with us. There'll be
Yeah.
officials in it, so they'll be looking after us all the time.
Is it difficult?
No, it's not difficult. It's a bit tiring sometimes, but it's not difficult.
Okay, so you can do this every day in Mukdahan.
Yes.
Yes. Apart from how many kinds of activities are there? I mean, apart from this one.
Well, this is kayaking. We have mountain biking. You can rent bikes and go
Yes.
for rides. You can go walking in the national parks like we did earlier.
Trekking.
Trekking. So there's lots of outdoor activities that you can do in Mukdahan. Well, what you've seen in the last 2 days is just a glimpse of the things we have in Mukdahan. We're a very small province, but we have lots and lots of things to offer. So you must
Yes.
come back again.
Yes, and I'm sure that you can come and visit us in the studio. Talk to Dr. Valerie sometimes about trade, local trade, and cross-border trade.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Valerie. Oh, would you like to join us here, Valerie?